I've been doing some spring cleaning this week and I stepped into the garage. Oh my god. The horror of all the crap that has been accumulating for a while. When you have magazines that are years old, it's time to get rid of them. I was flipping through them one last time, saw lots of inspiration, of course, the living rooms. So today's video is all about how to make our living rooms look expensive, especially if we're on a budget. What's up? My name is Jorge Freinu and I love all things home decor. Now I have a big list right here. Let's see how much of this we can get through. Let's go pretty quickly. Number one, don't do furniture sets. Now when it comes to a living room, of course, we have those big box furniture stores, and maybe it's just here in the States, but sometimes, and I don't want to name drop, but there are those retailers. You have the Memorial Day sale, 4th of July sale, some sort of holiday sale. You go in and a sales rep comes up to you, very helpful of course, but then you are ending up buying a sofa, a matching love seat, maybe a recliner, coffee table, matching side tables, bam, you're on your way. And it's great, it make it very easy, but something about that doesn't necessarily scream high-end or luxury to me. So one thing that I would recommend is like mixing and matching pieces, things that aren't necessarily from the same collection, from the same set. So breaking away from the sofa and love seat. And I think as a consensus, I think we've all kind of gotten towards that. So we have a sofa, maybe do two accent chairs that pair well with the sofa but aren't from the same collection. Maybe like a leather with upholstered or faux leather, something like that. And same thing with these side tables and coffee tables. They don't have to match, but they can complement each other. And sometimes you can get that inspiration from the type of wood that they use. Maybe it's like a different style, but same sort of color, or vice versa. Something that can like start to expand the sort of palette in a way, or expand sort of the style, something that feels modern, maybe with something a little bit more traditional. Declutter, declutter, declutter. Yes, decluttering is probably the most important one, I would say. And you know what, we're all in different seasons of life, so maybe we have family, we have kids, pets, or just messy people in the house. But clutter is one of those things that no matter how well designed it is, if it has clutter, it's gonna bring down the space. It's not gonna feel luxurious or high-end, so definitely declutter. Now this comes in a couple of different ways. Number one, if it's overly decorated, and I have done this before and I continue to do this sometimes, but over decorating can sometimes make a space feel too try hard, for lack of better words, probably not the right term, but try hard. Like when it feels too decorated, and that can come in by so many different reasons, but of course organization is very important. So of course we have baskets, we have maybe furniture pieces that have lots of great storage. Another example is like the TV area, and sometimes they're necessary in a living room, but rather than doing the open shelving where it collects dust and everything's just out in the open, do something like a console that has doors, like a media cabinet or like a credenza style, I would say. That'll of course will help you out with storage. They've definitely helped me in the past and hide all the crap, but it just looks nicer, it looks clean, it looks refreshed in a way. Let's talk about wall molding. Wall molding, oh, that can really transform a space. Something that I really want to do. I don't know if it's going to be in this space, but wall molding can elevate a space by a lot. Of course, there are different styles of molding. We have some that are a little bit just simplified, some more ornate, and I've seen lots of people doing this. It makes it feel a little bit more formal, put together, but then when you layer in your casual furniture pieces and decor, it starts to like go back down to casual, I would say. I don't know if that makes sense. Now, Jorge, what if I rent? I can't drill things into the walls or things. Well, I've actually seen some people do the peel and stick. You can just take your command strips and put it on the back of these pieces, these trim. But I've seen some people do that, and then you can easily remove it, take it with you to the next place. Speaking of wall molding, what color am I gonna paint it? That's a great question. Let's get into paint. Paint is a great way to elevate a space. Now for a living room, especially if you're doing it yourself, it can be a budget-friendly way to do so. Now of course, paint can be a little bit pricey depending on what you choose and if you hire somebody, but overall, relatively to like other things you could do to a living room, what color am I gonna choose? Of course, you can add some color. I like to keep things simple because that's just who I am. And maybe it's just because of what I do. So I opt for like white paint and just neutral colors. Some of my favorites from Sherwin-Williams right here. I got a fan deck. I really like pure white. One of my favorites. It's kind of like not too cool tone, not too warm tone. Somewhere in the middle, we have alabaster if you have something that you want off-white. High reflective white if you are really trying to make a space feel brighter, if you're not getting a lot of direct sunlight, but paint can transform spaces a lot. From Benjamin Moore, I like Chantilly Lace and Alabaster. Those are some great colors. I've actually had some of these fan decks for a while. I don't think they just give them out to everybody, but you can order them on Amazon, especially if you're doing a lot of painting. It definitely saves you the trouble than going and getting a whole bunch of those little cards that get lost. How about we update the throw pillows? Throw pillows are easy swaps that we can do to kind of elevate the space, especially if we're moving into a new season. Maybe you're looking for just a simple refresh, introduce a new color. Ooh, excuse me. And what's great about these is these can easily be swapped out maybe for a new season, maybe introduce a new color palette, new pattern, texture, something a little spicy. I sometimes feel dangerous and I go in with something bold, but some days I'm like, all right, enough with this, and I do something neutral that kind of disappears, if you know what I mean. You can get them relatively inexpensive at like IKEA, Target, one of those stores, H&M Home, I've seen a lot of good ones there, and Etsy if you're looking maybe for something vintage. Speaking of vintage, let's talk about, of course, vintage decor. You know, I love it here. I do a lot of sort of vintage inspired DIYs or thrift shopping, which maybe I need to do more thrift shopping in here. I kind of have gone away from it. Of course, layering things that have some history, that have a story, that make the new items feel more elevated and vice versa, because a space that is high-end with our living rooms, we want to make sure it has a timeless quality to it in a sense. It's time for a little break. I'm going to eat some tamales. Have you had tamales before? So good. My mom made some pineapple tamales and I'm gonna eat one. Something that I learned over the last year is the bigger the better when it comes to area rugs. In most cases, not always, because large areas of course defines a space. It brings in a nice texture, but it makes the space feel bigger. In my living room here, it's not very big, but the large area rug definitely makes it feel bigger, and it kind of gives the illusion of it being wider in a way. And so the bigger the better when it comes to area rugs. Try to put all of the furniture on there if you can, but if not, at least get those front legs on there, whether it be the side table or the sofas, the accent chairs. I found some diagrams online that do a great job of illustrating what a rug can do to a space. Take a look at this one. The rug is smaller and it makes the space feel smaller and more contracted. This one is a larger rug, makes it feel larger. It makes it feel more grounded. It's kind of like an island, I would say. Think of it like an island that's like floating around, and then the furniture pieces like land on it, have a party. There we have it. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's upgrade lighting. Lighting is such an important thing when it comes to living rooms. There are different types of lighting conditions. We have our overhead lighting, which could be can light, recessed lighting, or maybe a flush mount, maybe a chandelier. Chandeliers look really good in living rooms. Or maybe a ceiling fan, which ceiling fans are not the most attractive. They can be though. I actually found a couple of modern ones that are beautiful and elegant. Some are more minimal. I will link these down below in case you're interested, but those types of lights, if they are kind of predominant in the space, they should be good lights because they're gonna get attention, and we don't wanna bring attention to something unattractive in the living room when it comes to lights. Upgrade those if you can. If you don't have something like that, we have, of course, our floor lamps, our table lamps, sconces, lots of awesome plug-in sconce options. But sometimes, and I wish I had it with me, but there's these sort of lights. I think they're called up lights. I don't know what they're called. You can hide this behind like a side table or a furniture piece. It brings in the ambient light to a space without having to like put a lamp per se, because it can get a little bit crowded, especially if you have too many lamps. Maybe you just want that nice lighting, the ambient lighting without seeing the source of light. You know, I hope that makes sense, because I'll link some of my favorites down below. Do you like art? I love art. Of course, art is a very personal thing, and you know I love to DIY art. I actually have a couple videos in case you're interested. Art, especially large scale art, can really elevate a space. That doesn't mean every piece needs to be a large art, but maybe one oversized piece above the sofa rather than a whole bunch of smaller ones. That starts to feel a little bit more elevated. It makes the space also a little bit bigger. Not literally, but it gives the illusion of a larger space. And it could be something neutral, of course. It could be something that brings in color to a space that is maybe too neutral. Texture, so many ways that you can DIY art. Even if you're not the most art savvy person or DIY savvy person. I have lots of videos and we'll continue to do more, sharing different techniques, using different materials, not necessarily your old, Bob Ross type of painting, which those are great too, but different ways to do that. Abstract art is good. Speaking of art, let's talk about sculptures. When we look at high-end interiors, sometimes we see a piece that feels different from the rest, whether it be a sculpture, something with a curve, because a sculptural piece will often have an organic form to it that breaks away from the rectangles. When we look at a living room, maybe this is your case, but I feel like in most cases, everything's a rectangle. We have rectangle rooms, rectangle wall art, rectangle furniture, the rugs are rectangle. And so a sculptural piece breaks off from that. That could be an actual sculpture, that could be maybe some art, or maybe like a bowl. This bowl right here was a DIY that I did. Maybe you saw that video. Something kind of interesting. Maybe it's a hat. And you don't need to spend a fortune for a sculpture. I've seen some at thrift stores. Like this is a marble one that I found for a couple of bucks. It was broken, but I mean, it's black marble. You can't really tell. Something like this. I've done some DIYs where you just take like ordinary objects and make them look like sculptures on a pretty easy budget, or pretty friendly budget, I would say. Oh, I think I touched on this a bit, but TVs. TVs are sometimes necessary in a living room, especially if they serve as the family room. It's just a big black rectangle in the center of the room when it's not turned on. So what do we do when it's off? Number one, maybe you can get, like the frame TV, makes your TV look like wall art when it's off. Or if you don't have the budget for it, you don't want to spend money for a new TV, just go to YouTube. There's lots of great channels out there that make your TV look like art. I recently found this one where it has a whole bunch of different just TV wall art, like vintage art. I'm really loving that one right now. You just play it in the background, call it a day, put some jazz on, whatever you do. It really kind of just transforms the living room, makes it look like wall art. Maybe you can blend it in, put some like art around it, kind of create a gallery. Who knows? When is the last time you cleaned your baseboards? Not a fun subject, but cleaning the baseboards makes a big impact, or just your trim in general, because that's what, gets dirty, maybe more. So keeping that clean, those little details actually make a big difference. Not fun, but sometimes it's necessary. And you know what? I think we're gonna end on this one, and that is to take a risk. I personally I take risks, but I like to play it safe sometimes when it comes to design, because at the end of the day, I want a space that feels cozy, inviting, that feels, of course, sophisticated, but doesn't feel boring. And there's nothing wrong with boring spaces. I like a boring space, but if you're looking to kind of elevate it, we need something that feels spicy. This could be like a color, maybe a color that you haven't considered before. Maybe it's like some sort of bright color that integrates well with a neutral space. I see this a lot in Art Digest. We look at those celebrity spaces. They sometimes bring in a pop of color, and that could be the artwork. It could be like a bright red book. It could be a throw, something. Maybe it could be a rug. Something that involves maybe a little bit of risk or discomfort. Maybe expanding beyond your design style, introducing something a little bit more trendy, something more traditional, something a little bit more modern than you're comfortable with. You really don't know until you try it, right? So worst case scenario, you can return it to the store if you don't like it. I think that's pretty much it. Mixing and matching high-end pieces with budget-friendly options. One thing about these lists, and I actually came up with this list, there is no one-size-fits-all. It's going to depend on your space. It's going to depend on a whole bunch of things, what season in life you're in, who lives with you, all of those things. All right, I can talk for days, but I'm losing my voice. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you took away some ideas on how you can elevate your living room, how to make it feel maybe high-end, or just not necessarily high-end, but more intentional, more designed, not necessarily decorated, designed, because you can definitely do it. Take a photo of your living room with your cell phone or what have you. Look at that photo. Sometimes it's easier to do this than like looking at the space. Look at that photo, see what's working, see what's not working. Get some of your inspirational imagery, what you're inspired by. See how you can incorporate that to your space. Cut away things, get rid of things that are no longer working. At the end of the day, they're just things, they're just materialistic things. But it's easier said than done, of course. But anyways, check out my other videos. I have lots of DIYs. Check out my DIY playlist. I have done so many DIYs. I love DIYing. Actually, I have some fun ones coming up. Hope you have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.